Hey, so I'm just back from a 10-day Vipassana meditation course. Understandably, a lot of my family and friends are asking, how did it go? Do you think you'll go back? What did you learn? So I thought I would make a little video. The course is completely free. All food is provided for, all shelter is provided for. They did explain why, and I think it does make sense that you feel more like a monk, I suppose. You feel more like you're receiving charity, so it's harder to complain about things. I was quite surprised to see that most people there were a similar age to me. It seems that a Vipassana meditation retreat is kind of a midlife crisis destination for millennials. On the first evening when we arrived, our mobile phones were taken away and they were sealed into these little fabric bags like demons. Instead of our mobile phones, we were given alarm clocks to carry around, and I did see people absent-mindedly getting them out of their pocket and pressing a button on them so a light would turn on, as if they were expecting to get messages and things. That was quite funny. So men and women were separated for the entire duration of the course, and on the first evening they corralled them all into the other dining room and blocked them off with a blind. On the first evening we went to the meditation hall, which is also called the Dhamma hall, and we sat down and a key lesson that I took away is that you have to experience things for yourself. So let me show you the first thing that we heard. I'll let you make up your own mind about what you thought about that. But for me, I was slightly concerned that this would be my entire next 10 days. I was listening to this chanting. And it was. So they say it's not a religious chanting. It's just to help create a good atmosphere for peaceful and loving meditation. And after this first sitting, we were requested to observe noble silence, which is you're not allowed to talk to anyone, you're not allowed to make eye contact with anyone, you're not allowed to use gestures to speak, and you're not allowed to leave any written notes. Also, books are not allowed, yoga was not allowed, and if you wanted to exercise in any way, there was a field that you could walk around, and I did indeed walk around the field a lot. So as someone who's constantly distracted by things, constantly watching things, constantly looking at things on my phone, I thought this is going to be really hard. But the first day was surprisingly not so bad, apart from waking up at 4 a.m. So you're woken up at 4 a.m. by a gong sound, which at first I thought, I might change my alarm to this sound when I get home. And by the end, I felt like, that would make me crazy. You can see how crinkled up this is. That's because it is very well read, because this is the only reading material that we had. So this is the schedule, if you can see this. Yeah, pretty much that is 10 hours a day of meditation. Which seems pretty hardcore, because it is. And I'm the sort of person that at the end of a yoga video I'll skip the end bit of the meditation because I think, I don't need that. So this was quite a shock. 2 meal times a day. The breakfast was very lovely, lots of variety: porridge, stewed fruit, cereal, alternative milks and normal milk. And lunchtime every day was nice, all vegetarian, which was nice for me, as a vegetarian usually. And then in the evening, so at 5 p.m, we had tea and fruit. And people who've already done a 10-day course were only allowed tea. So they observe another precept, which is no food after midday. And we do a kind of half one of that, which is we can have some fruit. I was surprised how I wasn't that hungry, even not having dinner. But I was also surprised how incredible fruit is. It's just delicious. It's great. I love fruit. I came home, it's the first thing I bought. It was absolutely loads of fruit and just eating it. I was sharing a room with 5 other strangers. One of the ladies went home on day 2, but the other 4 survived the whole thing. So for the first 3 days, we practiced a type of meditation called Anapana. So you focus your mind just on this small part of the body. You can feel the sensations a lot clearer if you just focus on one small part. But Vipassana meditation is scanning your entire body, the whole way down. So for 3 sessions a day for 1 hour each, we were all in the room together in the Dharma hall. And we were allowed to stand up and reorganize ourselves and get comfortable, whatever we needed. But after we learned Vipassana meditation, these sittings became sittings of strong determination, which means we weren't able to move our hands, our legs, or open our eyes. So pretty much we just have to be like a statue. It made me think of those Buddhist monks that go out into the mountains and like mummify themselves. And the first time I did it, I thought, this is impossible. Like, I will never be able to do this. Like, my knee was on fire, my back was on fire, everything was hurting. But we were taught to think of the law of nature, which is change. And if we encountered a pleasant sensation, we should observe it and let it go. And if we encountered a painful sensation, we should also observe that and let it go. Just pass by, let it be. It will change, it will get better. But that first session, it did not feel like it was going to get better ever. I thought my leg was going to fall off. And I thought, this is impossible. I'm a serial fidget and I will never be able to sit still for 1 hour. But the first session I moved once. I had to move my leg because of that knee. The second session, I didn't move at all. When I came out of that session, I really felt like I could do anything because we just had one cushion on the floor to sit on. You could go and get more cushions. One of my roommates every day seemed to go up and up until she was atop a throne of cushions. In the evening, there was 1 hour discourses or lessons from the teacher about the technique and why we were doing what we're doing. I definitely feel like the information went in a lot more than usual, just because there was no distractions and there was nothing else really to think about. So the meditation is designed to change the deepest part of our minds, which is the part of the mind that reacts to things. So Buddhism believes that, well, we weren't allowed to take notes, so I'm going to do my best to remember what we learned. The human mind is quite ignorant, and if it feels something nice, it will crave nice things, and if it feels something bad, it will have an aversion to these things, so it will want to get away from these things. But the meditation techniques were about observing both of these feelings and just realizing that they will change. It will get better, and if it's nice, it's not going to last, and if it's bad, it's also not going to last. So the teacher told us a story, gave an example of, imagine an artist paints a picture of a scary creature and then immediately says, it's going to kill me, it's going to eat me, I'm terrified of it, as if it was real. And then he said, but we do this all the time with our minds. We make up scenarios and then we worry about them. Like, the past is gone, so nothing we can do about that. The future, no one knows what's going to happen, so why waste energy making up scenarios and then worrying about them? And that's exactly what I was doing. After a few sittings of these strong determination sittings, I found that I could ignore itches on my nose. I once stopped myself from sneezing. Sometimes like a real strong itch would appear and I was like, I can just ignore that. I really felt like I could see the matrix. Day three for the first time they had a flapjack in the dining hall, and this was a big day. I've named it since the flapjack of craving, because when I arrived with it in my little bowl, like some sort of creature, I saw this woman looking at it like, ooh, what's that? And it was great. I feel like the flapjack powered me on through to day 7, where I nearly gave up again. Day 7 was really rough, and I nearly left. But then I thought, if I leave now, like I'm never going to come back. In one of the discourses, so one of the teaching sessions, the teacher mentioned that this is like a deep surgical operation of the mind, and it's going to bring up some bad feelings. But if you were having a physical operation, you wouldn't just get up and leave the operating table halfway through and say, I'm going to come back. Like, you'd want them to finish. So he said it's really important that you stay the 10 days. The final day was kind of a cheat day where you could talk to each other, which was nice. Otherwise, I don't think I could have done it. They also opened the blind to the male section, and I had my one and only interaction with a man for the whole time. And that's as he walked towards the blind, he went. So he couldn't have had a better person on the other side coming the other way. So of course I responded in kind. And the woman behind me said, do you know these people? I said, no. And I never spoke to him again. So there was one kind of Fleabag-esque moment, which was quite funny. In the field across from us on Saturday, there was some sort of military exercise. So everyone was all really quiet, no one was talking to each other, looking at each other, and then suddenly this shooting and banging started. And we had this guy shouting, go on, get him, Charlie, kill him, smash him up. So that was quite the contrast. I was also surprised how I didn't miss my phone at all. Yeah, I really thought that I would want to check everything, Google everything. But actually, when we did get them back, when we did get our phones back on the last day, I just wanted to launch it at high speed, yeet it into a wall, as the young kids say. So every day after my shower, we were asked to clean the shower, and I thought, what's the point in that? Every single time you don't need to clean the shower. But then I did actually start looking forward to it, because it became a routine with measurable progress, and a lot of the day there was not much to do. So I heard someone on the final day saying something like, another hour with nothing to do, I might as well go to the toilet. Someone asked me on the final day, do you think you'll come back? And I said, no, of course I won't come back. Who would come back? But there was people there who'd been there 5, 6, 7 times, and you're meant to go back once a year. And now, after I've been home for a couple of days, I do feel the appeal, and maybe one day I will go back, because just the routine and the detox of no technology, no phones, and no distractions. All you have is your own head and your own mind. Glad that I did it, and I really feel like it has changed my life. I feel a lot lighter. I've been through quite a lot this last year, and I wasn't feeling the flow of the meditation. Most of the time I had areas of strong pain or discomfort, but the teacher said that this is your mental pain manifesting on your body, and if you can ignore it and let it go, it will he compared it to tightening up a rope over time, twisting a rope, and this is what we do most of the time when we're stressed or anxious. And by just sitting and observing it, you let go of the rope, and it goes pop, 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 and it just unwinds. I do think there's something in it, and I do think it has worked for me. I didn't experience any hallucinating or any floating feelings or anything, but I do feel better for it, and I feel like I can deal with things in my life easier now. So the recommended is to sit for 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, every day for the rest of your life, and do this same Vipassana meditation where you observe the pleasant and unpleasant sensations and develop equanimity, which is just not reacting to it, just letting it be. And I have done that since I've come back. So it's Wednesday now, so I've done 3 1-hour sessions in the morning only. I thought, I don't have the time to do both, but the teacher did say if you keep this up, you'll notice that you are more productive during the day, and actually you don't need to sleep as long. So I believe there's truth in that, but already this is a huge change to my life, and I don't want to overdo it and do too much and then give up on it and do it badly, so one step at a time. But yeah, I think it's a very personal journey, and what I experienced is not necessarily what anyone else would experience. I just realised how much energy and time I put into worrying about what other people think of me, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And I feel a lot lighter for it. If you do it, I wish you all the best, and just keep going. You got this. It's only 10 days, which seems like a long time because it is. But thank you for listening, and I really do wish you all the best, and I hope you have a great day. And if you're having a bad day, don't worry. Tomorrow might be better, and it might not be, but it will get better. And if it's great, then enjoy it, but it's not going to last forever. This is the law of nature, baby. Goodbye to all my weird millennials out there. Enjoy your midlife crisis.